What was your relationship with him? I mean, were you close?
We
were
were.
they up and down? Did it depend on the
We
year
were
and
in
the
many
month?
ways. He was exacting as a father, and I think he loved his children enormously. But he was also demanding. He was also away a lot, which meant that in his rather long absences, we'd grow, and sometimes, particularly in the sort of adolescent years, I think he was shocked by some of the developments, and could be scary, and often took one to task in those years, because I don't know how happy he was really at that time. And so I grew up in love and fear of my father. But I adored him, and I wanted his approval, but failing to get his approval, I think I was probably rebellious and difficult.
Difficult for him.
Difficult for him. Later on, it changed, particularly around the time of Prizzi's Honor, because I had the good sense finally to learn my craft, which was helpful around him, because he didn't suffer fools lightly, and I think he preferred what was adult in children to what was childish in children. So from that moment on, our relationship, well, it had already begun to change, and also he wasn't well for the last 15 or years of his life or so. So we became much closer than we'd been, and he could be the kindest, most loving, most gentle, caring person, and he could also be very, very terrifying. He was an interesting dichotomy.
Loving and terrifying.
Mm. Half monkey, half fish.
Yeah. Here is a clip also, and this is interesting to me just to see, because Sean Penn was here, who talking about The Crossing Guard.
Oh, yeah.
His second directing, and he loves directing. I think he almost likes it as much as acting, even though he's a brilliant actor, and
he's a good director.
He's a good director.
Yeah.
Because he
because he fortifies you, and he knows what he wants, and I think he's a good writer too.
Extraordinarily talented man.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
And terribly nice too.
That's what I thought too.
He's a
everybody
sweetheart.
that's what everybody. He was on this program, and he had all this reputation. And we had this conversation, not unlike what you and I are having, as he was smoking. Because he could not have gotten through it without smoking, I don't think. And he was just terribly interesting and nice. I mean, and all that other stuff that somehow had swirled around him.
Well, can you imagine being married to Madonna? I mean, it can't have been easy. I mean, he'd have been a saint not to react the way he did.
Because of Madonna, because of what happens when Madonna goes anywhere.
Exactly, and just the fact that
I don't know Madonna, so I can't imagine what it's like.
I don't either, but but it can't have been an easy circumstance for him. I mean, that's a profound amount of attention. No one deserves that.
Exactly. So you would hit a photographer
of
if they
got
in your way.
You would have to.
It would have been
no
unreasonable
choice.
not to have hit the photographer.
Absolutely.
We should be saluted
Absolutely.
for doing that. Here is a clip, The Crossing Guard, directed by Sean Penn. Here it is.
Do you remember when we were coming back from Vegas? The wind, God. Plane was bouncing all around. I thought I was shaking. Do you remember what you said?
Don't tell me.
You said, pray we crash, then we can call ourselves survivors. You were so... Where'd that guy go? then Emmy died. It's made you so small and weak. I needed you to be big and strong. I hated you for your weakness. I hated you. Now I'm pitying you. I don't know how to help you, Freddie.
You and I watched that scene and said the following: there's sometimes in which you see a scene by two powerful actors, and it is so good and so on target and so directed well that it just takes you away. For you, that was one of those. I mean, you were carried away by the moment.
Yeah, when you stop thinking about yourself or what the scene's about or memorizing or anything else, and the scene takes you and the motion takes you, and that's the sublime part of acting.
Yeah.
When you have the least to do with it.
Yeah, and it's all intuitive then.
It comes almost like a miracle, and it's when you don't expend effort.
I mean, I understand. It's almost the best athletic performances are when there's the least sense of what am I doing.
Exactly.
You know.
Exactly.
I'm just caught up in the doing of it.
Or you feel like it's a sort of wonderful visitation. It doesn't happen all that much, but sometimes it happens and you go, wow. You kind of go outside yourself and go, look at this. And it keeps on happening. What could be better?
And do you know why it happens sometimes and doesn't happen other times?
I think the elements have to be right. Or something specific will move you in a direction that you understand, or you'll be able to use something that's available. Or sometimes it's just the grace of God and being prepared.
And how about the actor across from you?
That helps. Big time.
Big time. Yeah. What do you say about him as an actor?
Jack is a sort of mysterious quantity because sometimes I look at his work and I think, well, what is it? What is it about him that elicits a return performance? And I think it's because he's so present and not caught up with the ideas of, I mean, obviously he has ideas about how he looks or how he wants to be seen, but when it comes down to it, that all kind of flies out the window, and Jack is there. He's fully present, and there's nothing like that. I mean, that's a real give and take. It's a real return, and you're not out there trying to contact something. The thing is, you know, it's like putting out your hand and you put your hand in mine.
Yeah, and it makes you better on the other end.
Of course.
It brings you.
Of course.
Yeah. Is it difficult when you've had a relationship that you'd had?
No, this made it much easier.
No, it did.
Well, sure,
I mean, because you pulled on, you knew every inch of each other.
You know every inch of each other, and the scene is about a couple who've had an immense closeness and who've lost something. In this case, their daughter, intrinsic to their relationship. Right. It's about lost opportunity, lost love, and the love that stays whether you want it or not. And all of those ingredients I have with Jack, and better to use them.
Yeah. I'm thrilled to have you here.
Oh, I'm thrilled to be here.
I really am. Dorothy Allison's book, Bastard Out of Carolina, will be directed Sunday, December 15th, was the premiere, seen throughout on Showtime, because of when we tape this, when Anjelica is in New York. It may have premiered before we are able to put this on the air so that all of you can see it. I urge you to see it because of her and my admiration for her. And also Dorothy Allison, who wrote a powerful book. Let's do this again.
Oh, please.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anjelica Huston. We'll be right back. Stay with us.